Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we've got some more news for you guys. Let me know whether you like these type of videos, because this is very interesting. So we've got a couple of changes. The big one is going to be with Meg potentially getting a rework. We'll show the clip in a second, and then a balance change to Charlie, which we'll show you just now. So literally with the video that Brawl Stars released yesterday, I may as well like it. Add to the thumbs up goal, right? So essentially they did a community event, delete toxicity, 5 legendary star drops. Basically just spam a bunch of thumbs up pin in games and you get rewards. But there's always some details in these videos which I really like from Brawl Stars. We always add some type of laws. So the first one is to do with Charlie's attack damage. So I've slowed it down in 0.25 speed here, but essentially you should see here just at the beginning 1520 damage. You guys had the sharp eye there. You pointed that out in the comment section. I would have just breezed by that. Again, I feel like I need to just dissect these videos a lot more, because there's a lot more that meets the eyes. Again, she deals 1600 damage right now, 1520 damage twice in this clip, clearly indicating she's going to receive a 5% damage nerf, which I would say is actually a good nerf to Charlie. We take a look at her Brawl Wikipedia page, and Charlie has just pretty much been nerfed to oblivion. There is a lot of red arrows in this. I've got to count it out. That's 2, that's 6, that is 10, that's 12 red arrows. There's a green arrow which is about a hypercharge rate, and then there's Charlie now has ammo after getting out of cocoon. Oh, I think that was to do with a bug. So essentially she's only received one buff, and that's to a hypercharge rate because it just took so long. And what, 12, what, how many nerfs? Another nerf with attack damage. Charlie is just still such a strong brawler. I thought that the range nerf would have definitely done something to her in the last update. It did feel like it nerfed her a bit, but then I still think her super's still strong. I feel like as time's going on a little bit though, she's not being as good as a tank counter as some of the other ones right now, like Cordelius and Shelly, but she's still a big problem. She's still so versatile. Her super's far too strong, so I think toning down the attack damage just means she'll be less spammy. And I think a big problem about it is actually just how quickly you can spam up close. So the attack damage at least makes it a little bit less toxic. I like this change. Let's see where it goes. I think just slow changes with Charlie is pretty good, because I feel like she could either be really bad or really strong, right? I feel like that's the mechanics with Charlie. So now let's talk about Meg then. So if we go back to the YouTube clip, I'll probably replay this quite a few times because there's a lot to really dive into here. So go into this Meg clip right here. You can clearly see at 1 minute 42, 43 in the clip, you can see Meg clearly has a lot more projectiles. I don't know how many more projectiles she has. It looks way fewer than the mutation, which was just crazy, like the amount of projectiles. I don't know how many more that was in there, but I think it was like 4 times the amount of projectiles, but it's definitely more than she has now. So this is leading to think that Meg might be getting a rework. Everyone was kind of throwing it about on social media in my comments, and to me it looks bright as day. Also, one thing I noticed as well, again, you got to like really slow it down, but in the first engagement it looks like she deals about 340 damage per projectile, because you take a look, B goes from 5,000 damage to 4,320, which would mean that maybe each projectile deals a little bit less. I'm not too sure. So with Meg, let's look at why I think she's going to get a rework. So you take a look at her usage rate. This is on Brawl Time Ninja. You can see the pics recorded. Of course, Dynamite, Cole, Edgar, some of the most fun brawlers in the game. They're just played so often. You take a look all the way down here, and Meg is always at the bottom. She received a rework not too long ago, and essentially it did boost the pick rate a lot, but that was mainly because she was like one of the best brawlers in the game. The rework made her way too strong, but she's always in the bottom 10. Poor Hank is at the bottom as well, but it's just repeat offenders here. Maybe some of these brawlers might get some slight reworks in the future. You know, Ash is always at the bottom, Ruff's always at the bottom, Otis, I'm hoping he might get like a star power rework as well, so then they can make a fun star power that might make him more fun to play. But Meg is always near the bottom with Lola, so there's always been a big issue, and considering she's a legendary brawler, you want her to feel legendary, you want her to feel fun. So let's take a look at Meg's previous history then. So take a look at the rework. I think the rework happened about a year ago now. So if you're thinking about reworking her again, that's quite a big statement, you know, considering they did a lot last time. So essentially they made it so Meg used to be in small form all of the time, right? At the beginning of the game you had to really work hard to get that mech, but then the mech was quite beastie. It did a lot of damage. It was actually quite fun. But the problem was Meg was just pretty much unusable in like showdown and other scenarios. She was just way too easy to kill outside of mech. So they made it so you start in mech, and then it's quite easy to go back in it. But basically always a mech, but the mech doesn't really do anything. So there was a lot of changes with the damage, with the health decay, and all of stuff like that. Honestly, I think the rework kind of helped, but at the same time it made the mech less fun. So if you just play Meg, just spamming out shots, you're not actually really doing too much. So this leads again to me going to Frank's tweet. So Frank's tweet, April the 7th, so a couple of months ago now, he literally put out a post which I think ties in beautifully with this. Let's talk about Meg. Solid win rates but underwhelming pick rates. What's getting into the way of her being more popular or even meta from your perspective? Is the gameplay not fun enough? Visual identity, voice, what do we miss? So again, they're kind of reaching out to the community because they will get a good idea. If a lot of people are saying the same points, then clearly something needs to change. So SpenLC, he makes a fantastic point. Like, what a great point from him. So I basically said that people don't enjoy the low damage spam attack because for me, I don't really enjoy it too much either, right? But the way you play Meg is you don't actually play to deal damage. You think like the big beastie mech, right? You just look at Meg, you think she should do a lot of damage. She should be able to just run through people with it. But the way you use Meg in competitive is literally use your HP and push the opponents back into spawn. You literally use her for map presence. You don't actually use her really for gameplay, for damage, for utility like that. It's just literally because of you've got a lot of HP and you tickle them, but you just use that to push them back. So I just don't think that's enough for the casual player. They probably won't understand that. It's got good win rates in ranked right now. Competitive, she was used a lot in World Finals, for example. I think she's got a good place in the meta, but that doesn't mean she's not fun. She definitely needs a little bit of a change. So again, I think that maybe switching between main attacks could be pretty good. So I know there's not many brawlers like that, but imagine before the game you could actually like choose what type of Meg you have. I know that would be asking for a lot for a rework like that, but imagine like your main attack can be like a rocket. So I'm just thinking kind of like Overwatch, like D.Va, for example, where maybe it could be like big damage rockets that may be a bit inaccurate, but at least that's literally switching up the gameplay dynamic a little bit. Or maybe I remember Ark's comment right here, which was really good at the bottom. So it was praising my point, but you can see here pros understand how to utilize her, but perhaps one of the states should be excelling at long range with high damage projectiles, but maybe a little bit slower movement speed. I know slow movement speed isn't that fun or exciting, but you get what I mean. Like you need to change something up about it. And then another state would be able to boost towards the enemies, you know, being able to slash again like D.Va in Overwatch. I've not played too much D.Va in Overwatch, but I know you can boost towards people with like a shield. I think that could be fun for Meg. Like imagine like you get a little dash forward and then you can swipe at them. I think that'll be a cool mechanic. It's something needs to change with Meg because it's quite clear that she's just not getting the win play rates whatsoever. So again, we can go through some other points as well that people in the community make. Ash, he put a long paragraph. You guys want to read that, but essentially again, it's just not too satisfying to play a brawler like Meg. It's very spammy, it's very low damage, and the super is pretty boring as well. The super you can auto aim, it's just a swipe. You know, there's nothing actually cool about her Meg. Normally when you think of mechs in other games, you know, it's rockets, it's high damage, it's good utility, it's dashes as well. There's a lot going on. But in Brawl Stars, it's like, oh, I'm a mech all of the time, and I'm just this big beefy unit. That's all I am. I'm not going to be able to get any kills. The only thing I'm there for is just for survivability, essentially. That's why you use her a knockout. So a lot of good points from community members here. So let's take a look at how Meg is in game. So just quickly going into the last point then. So the way that they're reworking it, it looks like they're adding more projectiles. So in my theory, you've got to probably nerf other things about Meg, right? So she has a lot of HP right now. They could probably turn down the HP a little bit. They could nerf her range a little bit. They could nerf the damage. There's a lot of things that they could do. Again, I think they might rework the super as well. So maybe one super could be like the swipe, one super could be like a rocket barrage. I don't know, something like that would be really fun with Meg, even if the like rockets kind of home in a little bit. I don't know, something needs to change, because right now all you do in knockout is you just walk up the map, like spam out attack. Like 420 damage is nothing when you think of it in Brawl Stars. The swipe is pretty cool, but you can never really get in range, and again, it doesn't even deal a lot of damage. In her old form, she could just one-shot so many brawlers. She could just deal a lot of damage as well. It was actually rewarding to play Meg. So maybe the rework actually hurt Meg, in my opinion. I don't know. There's a lot to consider with Meg. Let me know how you would rework Meg in the comment section below. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.